You win.
You're metal, dude.
Dudes, deliberating. 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 Dogfish. Deliberating. Dogfish. I'm the dude.
One minute, dude.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight!
That always reminds me of the end of the Boondocks cartoon intro.
That's how art functions. It reminds a different person of a different thing, and no one can agree what the actual source of the idea is from. And that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. It's Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Is that Anno Domini? Is that what that stands for?
Year of Lord.
Yeah, Anno Domini. I think that's Latin.
Anal Domini.
There's a controversy on the internet that I want to clear up a little bit. It's about the topic of Arianism.
Versus Arianism.
I have not in my lifetime seen the white war drum beat.
Sure.
So
So
the way it is currently.
Arianism is not like breathe Arianism. It's not having to do with oxygen. So that might help clarify and isolate this very specific topic. Arianism, we'll say it again, Arianism. It's an ism. We'll talk about some isms tonight. Do you know the definition of Arianism? It's a yes or no question. Okay, I'll take that as a no, so I'll read you the definition of Arianism.
Yeah, no, we were just waiting for you to read the definition anyway.
Yes, Arianism is a theological doctrine that emerged in early Christianity, primarily associated with the teachings of Arius. Does that clear that up for you guys?
All right.
Who the fuck is Arius and what?
Arius is a Christian priest from Alexandria. He asserts that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is not co-eternal with God the Father and was created by the Father, thus being subordinate.
So he's an anti-Trinitarian?
This is Arianism.
So this Arianism is a non-Trinitarian version of Christianity.
It was a significant controversy in the early church.
Because obviously, if their Jesus character is not somehow one with the God character, then that can't be a Trinity, right?
It's too early to agree or disagree with you. I just want to state my purpose tonight is to resacralize Christianity. So we're going to begin that tonight by talking about the first ecumenical council of Nicaea, happened in 325 Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. So that condemned the doctrine and affirmed the belief in the Trinity. Does this answer your question? The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. 3 persons, 1 substance. That's the Trinity. So
that's passed down from the Council of Nicaea?
That's where they discussed it, yes. The Arian controversy. So this establishes the orthodox view of the nature of Christ. Therefore, orthodoxy is Arianism, is ...
Hold on, though. Wouldn't orthodoxy have to not be? Because aren't they Trinitarians?
Okay, so I understand, and I'm going to diagnose the problem tonight.
Okay.
You're hearing words I'm saying, attributing meaning to them, and I just want you to feel good about what I'm saying. I just want you to like me for saying smart things.
Do you happen to have a non-disclosure agreement and maybe a a pre-done PDF to join a cult? Because that's the only way you get those kind of treatments.
It's not a cult. It's a fellowship, Ben.
Right. That's my bad. I'm old. I'm not down with the new terminologies with everything. I don't know what like a yeet is and things like that. I don't even know what these things are. So this is my bad.
Right.
A yeet, a skeet, a yurt, a yogurt.
Like I think
in a yurt before for sure.
I think that about half of the things that you guys don't even realize off air, Marcus and I spend hours talking to each other, and about half of that, I'm not sure if he's just making shit up. Like he said all kinds of things like pootie pie and shit like that, and I'm just like looking at him. And, yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I thought that who's the chick that sings the song that I thought was fake for the longest time?
Wow, Ben.
Like, Doja Cat.
Okay.
Yeah, Doja Cat.
I thought he was making that shit up the whole time, and I thought it was just like a Marcus meme thing. And then
yeah. So Doja implies female, dojo implies male, cat is already sort of associated with femininity, and tonight we want to attack all the cat lovers because we are dog lovers here, and that's
right.
Basically what we're about.
So ignore all the cats that will be crawling all over me on them.
We defend dogs and dog owners. Yes.
Yeah. We just
dogs are the superior animal.
They don't eat many mice, though, and I tell you what, you can't really have a farm with all them damn mice running around.
That's fair.
They say you are what you eat, and if you eat a lot of mice, then you're just a mouse eater, and then that's just you're essentially a rat at that point.
Yeah, that's okay. I like it.
Okay, and again, that's
when they leave the guts. They left a pile of guts right here next to the door that we had to walk by for like a whole day before they finished it off. I'm like, you nasty sons of bitches. We don't need to see your animal guts. Gross.
They're like, no, dude, we're showing you what we can do because clearly you guys are such bad hunters that you can't go out and kill your own mice. So we got to bring them up your way.
Dude, my favorite cat left literally half a rat on my bench where I sit upstairs and look out the window. It just left it there, and it was like just a half of a rat with like guts just spilling out of it. I'm like, ah!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember that during weaving spiders one time, bro? Fucking my favorite cat jumped through the window and tried to bring me a squirrel. Like, and of course the dogs were very impressed by that, and oh man, that was crazy. I had to mute. I do know where the mute button is.
Okay.
So what is our stance on squirrels? I'll also include chipmunks and what's that other thing? Gophers. I'll include
chipmunks sing pretty good. So I do like them. I've heard them sing before. They're pretty good. Squirrels don't bother me. Actually, my cats, a couple weeks ago, I should have taken a video of it, but I didn't really realize what it was. I did not realize here in Humboldt they have flying squirrels. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's even called the Humboldt flying squirrel. And I thought it was just a weird rat or mole or something, and the cats were all kind of surrounding it, staring at it like, what is this? And they hadn't started attacking it yet. I walked over because now I'm curious too. And so I walk over to see what it is, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
These are heavenly messengers. These are the angels.
Black eyes.
Right.
Like really cool looking. Really cool.
Wings.
No, it didn't have wings. It's like under its armpits, it had like a flap.
They move through the air. They're like winged creatures. You know how humans grow wings and become angels. These are the angels of the groundhog, chipmunk, world. Right. So tonight I'm just going to be drawing a lot of mental
black eyes.
I'm just going to be drawing a lot of mental diagrams in your minds tonight, a lot of Venn diagrams. This is where the Trinity comes in, where you have a circle, and then you have two other circles, and you can draw these three circles so that the three circles intersect with each other, and the point where all three circles intersect with each other is right where we are meeting tonight.
Yeah.
Because we are ourselves the Trinity.
If any of you understood that, you belong here. You should probably be speaking.
So Steve, Boulderson, Alan Marcus, we are the Trinity, and our thoughts merge together. And in the middle of our thoughts is the most correct way of thinking.
Yeah.
And just letting you guys know, if you disagree with that compound thought that we formed tonight, you will be excommunicated from all future chats and IRL hangouts. That's in-person hangouts. If you're not on good terms with the dudes, as we call ourselves, we are the Trinity, we're the dudes, we are the leaders of this group.
If if you need a further tutorial for Venn diagrams, allow the world's most brilliant woman and best explainer of things to elucidate.
Diagrams,
Joe Camel?
circles. Right. And then let's just see where they overlap.
You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those three circles, how they overlap?
I love Venn diagrams. So I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, the three circles. And so I asked my team, right? They're fantastic.
It's like a free
He sees
seashell.
the Venn diagram of it all. He sees that there are those circles, and maybe people seem that they're a little different. They live in different parts of the country. They may be different age or different race, but that area in the middle, that overlap. I asked my team to do a Venn diagram of where these attacks are happening. So voting rights, women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights. And of course, there was a huge intersection. I asked my team to do a Venn diagram for me of where we are seeing attacks and who are the attacks against and the similarity. And when you look at a diagram of just a Venn diagram in that regard, it tells a real tale.
Squirrels also have tails larger than chipmunks. And I think the speaker has a speech impediment. I think we need to get through some speech therapy. She kept saying Venn.
Vodka.
She said vodka can cause slurred speech.
Don't blame the vodka.
Were you guys hearing V with a V in the Venn, like with a V sound?
Yeah.
I think she was talking about men diagrams. It was man who first combined the three circles together into the Trinity. This
In
is
Willie Brown's office.
This is Orthodox. This is Christian. This is true. These are men diagrams, and in no part of the inner circle are women allowed. So if you disagree with that,
Or eunuchs.
Okay, I'll write that word down. Eunuch. I'm just trying
That's
to.
the guy who hosts the Young Turks, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
What, Jank Eunuch?
Jank. Eunuch.
Jank Eunuch.
So the intersectionality is the attack vector of our debate platform. This is where we find the intersectionality and we attack the weakness right in the middle, right in the soft part of the personality, of the ego. So there's id, superego, and ego. And it seems
a dude is a straight guy who lets gays have hose way with them so he can get access to their hot girlfriends.
okay. That's the beta orbiter concept, I think. And
I'm not sure what handbook you're reading from, Great White Pope, but it's a wrong one. Yeah. But hey, have fun.
we will be talking about.
Is that supposed to be his way or hose way? Because if it's hose, I don't even understand. Like gays have hoes way with them.
Right.
What do hoes and gays have to do with each other? I don't understand.
Maybe the gays have their way with them.
What's up, droid? What's up, Tony Coriolis?
You can get access to the gays.
This is a teachable
have
moment.
hot girlfriends. Is that what you're saying?
Dudes, we need not lose our cool in this moment. This is a teachable moment.
I'm not.
I do understand where he's coming from with the whole the dude from The Big Lebowski doing the whole dudes for Kamala, and those dudes were probably letting chicks peg them and stuff like that. I get that. That's not all dudes though. They tried to make that into dudes. At the same time, they ran a whole series of commercials where dudes like, I can replace an alternator. I also like an 8-inch dildo in my butt. Like, hey, you know, like, so they were just trying to. It's that whole nonsense that women do, like a real man. Like, you know what a real man is. Maybe.
If I could circle back to what I said earlier, we are the dudes who define what the word dude means. So on our debate platform,
fair point,
we define what words mean to everyone listening to us. So our listeners understand what our definition of words are as we define them.
And typically our definition is the classic definition that you could find. They made these really neat books. They're called dictionaries.
I've heard of those.
Yeah. You can usually find them pretty cheap at garage sales or library sales, anything like that. And they have a list of words and the common definition for such. And when you go ahead and use that, then it makes conversation very understandable, because when I say a thing, they know, the person across from me goes, oh, well, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you may have a point, Great White Pope, but we don't capitalize. We don't use the all caps definition. So
we don't shout the word.
Yeah, we've opted out of that.
It's more of a sacred completely. Whisper. It's more like, dude.
And this is now the most retarded thing you've said so far.
There is a sense of reverence when we mention dude.
Dude is a social construct. That's dumb. Take a lap. Go take a lap, and we'll see you when you get back.
I mean, maybe as a point. The definition, I don't know. The name's hilarious.
Like a socially derived definition of dude.
So some dudes actually do work in construction, and some dudes are social when they're on a construction project. They'll talk to other dudes, but mostly it's just a lot of, here's the blueprints, we understand our job, we're not doing a whole lot of talking back and forth, we're not gossiping, we're not sitting at a water cooler.
No, usually they're playing 70s rock music in the background, and then nobody really
So this is where we talk about mariachi music.
Get your Friday Floyd fix. Fuck, they played Floyd every day for fucking 5 hours. I'm OD.
It's 2 for Tuesday here on The Rock, and we're going to play the same two Leonard Skinner songs that we played every Tuesday for the last 17 years. All right.
Did your Pink Floyd get a little too soggy after that? It's like keeping the cereal in the milk too long.
Yeah. If you're a construction worker, you're just inundated.
Right.
Bring tacos.
So we are.
And no, Tony, there is no fight tonight. I don't know. We're have to change our description. We're not even a debate channel. Nobody will debate us. Fucking. After last week, I got a 3:30 a.m. angry email from Marty Leeds crying.
Okay. If it bleeds, it leads, right, guys?
Yeah, crying around. Like, what the fuck you doing up at 3:30 in the morning, living in a yurt, mostly off grid, Marty? Like, what? Why? I don't know why you would be up that late. 3:30 in the morning, even city people are in bed usually. Fucking lights out here. If I'm sitting up at 3:30 in the morning, what, staring at the fucking glowy stickers on the ceiling?
Maybe he got up to take an old man pee in the middle of the night, and he was just so consumed with rage while he was sitting down on the pot with the door open and the light off because he didn't want to hurt his eyeballs.
Okay. All right.
Maybe he was so consumed with rage while sitting there scrolling that he was like, I'm going to email Balderson and I'm going to tell him how I really feel.
Yeah. Called me a pig heathen.
All right.
Swine
Yeah,
pig.
no. It was when he says 3:30, he means 3:30 Marty's time, which was 1:30.
1:30 my time.
Yeah.
Which I was already in bed, so I didn't see that till the next day for sure. Like, I wasn't sitting up stewing about Marty being a dumb fuck all night. Like, I'm like, oh, weird.
We haven't finalized the document of our disclaimer in our legalese language in which we explain how
we haven't finished our cult non-disclosure.
Everything is for entertainment purposes only. We are playing characters which are identical to a legal entity or a straw man that may or may not share the same website address as alanmarcus.com, or I don't know if you guys got websites or not. I haven't dug
real old men roll over and pee in a bottle. No, that's fucking that is hilarious.
So the purpose of delivering
bring back chamber pots.
I got my nighttime jug right next to the nightstand.
The purpose of delivering dog-faced dudes is to consume Ricola. That is a purpose. The greater purpose of the ministry and the outreach program of delivering dog-faced dudes is not to cancel individuals or start beefs or personal attacks. I know some of you are vegetarians, so we're not going to like start carrot throwing.
You definitely don't want
carrot.
Well, I don't do beefs, Marcus. Why are you singling me out with the meat references?
Right, he does beats.
This is just chatter that happens in the background. I know that there's a way that those little carrots, those mini finger carrots, if you squeeze them between your thumb and forefinger, and there's enough friction, it launches like a rocket across the cafeteria. We're not launching carrot attacks. This is not what we're about. The purpose of deliberating dog-faced dudes is to deliberate and find great ideas. If we deliberate and we find that an idea from a person is a little bit weird, a little bit wonky, a little bit not according to a consensus reality of a Wikipedia or a dictionary, if it just seems off in some way, we're going to bring it up. Okay. And now, with all that said, forget everything I said, and let's turn to Bing, who is our AI producer, who answers questions for us so we don't have to. I have a slide here to bring up.
I didn't even know.
Okay, so this is Bing.
How did we afford
answering the question, what's wrong with Marty Leeds' face? So again, this is not a personal attack because it's not coming from any of us. This is from AI. This is from Bing.
Is there so many
so read it out loud.
It's there for so many possible reasons, but usually the only one: take a breath, punch your third eye, give your brown eye a wee little tickle, Christ, and stretch your Jap's eye over a Posca pen. It likes that. Trust me, it really does. Oh,
so there's the answer, and I know it's going to take wiser men than us to interpret and decode the answer to the question. I think I know what a Posca pen is. Kind of like a magic marker or permanent marker.
It's weird because it's really interesting because I enjoy Irish heritage and culture and IRA music, things like that. And the Irish are actually known for doing this thing called chibbing, which is it's like the Joker. They'll take two knives and jack your cheeks. Mm-hmm. And he looks like he's been chibbed, and he's Irish. It's hilarious, and I don't know what the reasons for it some people in the chat put that he did like a 15-minute thing picking at his face, but somebody said he had fiberglass in his face, which, yeah, fiberglass is no joke. I'm not going to joke about that. That's like my uncle got freaking fiberglass dug into him once. Ooh, that was bad. Nobody likes being the attic guy.
This is a result of pointing a camera at one's face and recording and streaming and making that visage, that image, that visual motion picture, the thing that you're putting out to the world, and people are going to look at that and they're going to react to it. They're going to respond to it. They're going to ask questions about it. They're going to consider what it means and what it doesn't mean. And again, that's just part of an open conversation that happens through the process of being a public figure. We were looking at pictures of the new Pope and making predictions and judgments as well. I think everyone's done that.
Who the hell's Tory Lane? And why did a Mexican stab her?
Tory Lanez is a rapper who allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot and went to prison over it. And he's caught up in some bullshit and got stabbed up by an alleged MS-13 member while in prison.
Who is the stallion person?
So Megan Thee Stallion.
Thee Stallion is
I know the answer. She's the fattest ass in the.
He put his hand up first, Steve.
Megan Thee Stallion is the fattest ass in the rap game today.
It's not that chick with the Lyft driver that couldn't get in the lift.
No, that's a different fat ass. But that's a very good point. It is a very good point. I think Ben has laid to rest the myth that Meg has the fattest ass in hip hop. Clearly, Rotundra or whatever her name was.
Rotunda.
Okay.
That was a fat ass. Fuck, you see that one clip of the video of her sitting on the back of like a Tahoe or something, and like that thing was looking like a single seat. You're like, fuck.
Okay, all right. This is a segue. This is a scooter that we ride from one topic to another. Now we're in the realm of music, and in the realm of music, we get into the realm of culture and the origin of music, which happened in, I think, 1956 in Switzerland, and they called it Eurovision. So the vision of Europe would be music and art and culture.
Did they mean Norwegian death metal in the forest?
That is included in the category of song.
Not much Gorgoroth at Eurovision, though.
Well, that's what we're going to deliberate on tonight, is the sounds that we hear in Eurovision. Okay, there's an idea of a vibe soundtrack where the music sounds a certain way, you feel a certain way, and you dance a certain way to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the vibes are off this year at Eurovision so far?
Haven't seen anything from Eurovision yet this year. I haven't. The last couple of years, it's either been we're rigging the whole thing for Ukraine or we're rigging the whole thing for Israel.
Yeah, Marcus took us down that road last year.
And it's pretty wild how Israel gets to compete in Eurovision unless you make them take a DNA test. Then it makes more sense.
Now, I appreciate, Steve, you allowing our listening audience to hear what the headline is. We're not burying the headline. We're getting directly to the point. The point of Eurovision,
Marcus. We don't.
Correct. We share the information. We don't make you sit through a 3-hour lecture and then you still have more questions. The answer is the Moroccan oil company. It's a hair product. You put it in your hair. It's a beauty product. The number one sponsor of Eurovision is owned by Israeli citizens, I think business people, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then the largest sponsor of the song contest in some way will determine what is brand safe content for the contest. So the culture that is allowed to be culturally spread. Okay, if we have a petri dish of culture, if Eurovision Song Contest is a petri dish of culture, and the culture we want to allow to grow and flourish in our petri dish will be in alignment with brand values according to the biggest sponsor and the politics of the largest sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah, just direct message me or send me an email. And we currently have comfort cream, and she has a different comfort cream that she's calling it pepper and mint, where she took cayenne from the garden that we grew, and menthol, so it kind of gives it kind of an icy hot feeling. It's very nice. And her Vapor Soothe, which is like a Vicks type thing, mentholatum type thing that clears up your chest, and then burn banish. Yeah, just send a direct message. She got 4 ounce and 8 ounce. Is that what it is now? 2 ounces, 4 ounces. But yeah, this is a nice season for the burn banish. We usually do a lot of the Vapor Soothe, obviously, in the fall when everybody's starting to get chest congestion and whatnot. And then obviously the comfort cream's handy right now. Oh my goodness, what do we got going on here?
This is Poland's entry to Eurovision this
Probably
year.
won't be able to hear any sound samples, as this is an ongoing contest, and the protection of the intellectual property rights are very.
I can't do this with volume.
The Mickey Mouse ears are always listening, and unfortunately, our audience cannot have the same Mickey Mouse ears to listen to the same thing we do. We can, however, describe what we're seeing. So this will be the vibe of the entry.
Why does this look like the dude from the Jigsaw movies?
Right? It's like Marilyn Manson fucked Laura Loomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This song, I believe,
made the
has something to
world's
do
ugliest
with...
Jew baby.
Well, this is about dragons. This is about Gaia. This is about Mother Earth.
I'm gonna take
thing where a bunch of authors for like over 10 years now have all. There's a shocking number of series that I read. Game of Thrones, obviously, being one where that one's been unfinished. I think that's like 15, 18 years or some shit waiting for the next installment. There's Patrick Rothfuss. He's got this King Killer, what is it called? King Killer Chronicles.
Yeah.
The Door of Stone. Been waiting for that for like 15 years. Scott Lynch, he writes the Gentleman Bastard series. Fantastic books. Been waiting for the book that's supposed to have come out like over 10 years ago. It's just over and over. You're like, what is going on with that? How do so many authors are just a decade behind on a book? What is the deal with that?
The culture has moved to a slow crawl, and there is not a whole lot of new culture. So we, in our separate fandoms, whatever our favorite thing is that we have an affinity towards, that we have nostalgic feelings for, and we just love it so much, there is a slow crawl in the development of new culture, new intellectual properties, and new stories, new characters, new heroes. Financially, that's because there's a large gamble. You don't know if you're going to win or lose in creating a new intellectual property, putting money in to market it. And when the marketing money goes to spread an idea, a brand, a movie, a song, a pop star, whatever it might be, the culture of the fans, the people who are consuming the music, the movie, the book, the thing, if they are not paying forward with more than time, treasure, and talent. If they're not putting in money to purchase the products and pay to be a member of the fan club, then that creator ceases to continue creating.
You're saying not enough people buying books.
Not enough people paying attention to the ideas, falling in love with them, and then telling other people in an evangelical way, buy this book. So when the sales numbers are lower, when the box office receipts of new movies are low, but people will go and see the Chronicles of Narnia redone for the third or fourth or fifth time in theaters, then people will obviously think, well, Chronicles of Narnia, that's great, let's make more Narnia.
Nel più grande spettacolo musicale d'Europa.
Steve, you're playing Mexican stuff.
No, it was Eurovision stuff.
Mariachi music at what cost? At what cost, gentlemen?
That was at Eurovision?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought the sound was off from screen. Yeah, I was just randomly scrolling through the Eurovision like hashtag on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see what was popping up.
What does Steve have to say about Trump's sudden I'm against the Jews. I'm against Israel. Even
He's
though
not.
I'm aware. Well,
Yeah.
we want to hear your take on the why is he, after signing a hot series of crazy fucking executive orders that was extremely favorable and sending them more money than what Doge supposedly was saving, and telling them that they can just basically blow up the entire Middle East and it's okay. Now all of a sudden pretending that he is anti-Israel and gonna do lots of just stand up to them.
So it's a stand up to Benjamin Milikowski kind of thing.
Oh, you don't use his Polish name. You dead named him, Steve. You dead named him.
Well, shoot. Gosh darn it. I am sure going to lose sleep over that tonight.
That's not very intersectional of you. Or is that extremely intersectional of you to say?
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm trying to be ultra inclusive, especially for our Polish audience, Ben.
Sure.
Yeah. Should I tell some Oli and Lena jokes?
Yes.
Right?
That is culture. That is culture.
And yeah, when he was born in Poland and then moved to Boston and went to a very nice private Jewish high school in a Boston rich ass neighborhood, he was Benjamin Milikowski.
Yeah, like that little fat kid that raps. That Milikowski, like that. Yeah, and they're all every top Jewish person over there. If you look up, they changed their name. None of them had a Jewish name. They all had a different name. They're not from Israel. They're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Itamar Ben Gavir. His name is probably like Murray Greenblatt or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They went in and changed all their names. Netanyahu's name is actually Milikowski. Him and that little fat kid with the dreads that raps, them two are probably related. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then when you see, it doesn't take rocket scientists to realize that when you set a group of people above other people, that especially when that group's a very small minority and you give them extreme special privileges, that's going to create hostilities. That's just 101. Like if you're if you're in a group of kids, the kid that gets treated, the special kid, all the other kids despise that kid. They all tell them how they're the golden child and what a little brat they are and things like that. So you take that up to a societal level. It's the same basic concept. And the thing is that as this is happening, they've built up and you can't find this episode, but Steve years ago asked me what my prediction was for the future of society, and I flat said this is what's coming. Like they did all these really weird leftist things hardcore in order to bring about the fascist jackboot. And look at the way I've never seen them activate. People are like actively like, yeah, we're Nazis now, blah blah. Oh my God. And the weird part is being in the conspiracy community, you're very aware of things like damn it, that the Royals signed that said they're going to help get the Balfour Agreement. You realize that was pre-World War I, that they were already and then when you look at it, so many of the bad Jews had to be sacrificed as wheat or as like chaff before the wheat, so that way the good ones could have the promised land returned to them. So in order for this event to happen, they had to have a sacrifice. It's in all their holy stuff. Well, this is coming again. They still need more stuff. They still got to have the return of their tabernacle or their Solomon's temple or whatever the hell. So you're just going right into their playbook. They purposely set them up as like the in their whole sacrifice scenario where they've got the golden lamb or whatever that gets treated so well, and that's the one that's about to get its like that whole scenario is already set up. And it's just wild to see people that knew this information to still jump on this bandwagon. And I understand that there's a big draw with it because you're going to get a lot of followers. I've never seen the white power type thing in my lifetime take precedence where dudes were just like openly, which of course this has all been pushed. If you don't fucking realize that letter agencies made most of the donations and made that lady from the park that called the little kid the N-word or the other kid that stabbed the kid in the chest, when those two things started virally competing and they're both crazy, the letter agencies made that happen, made that go viral, made this story happen. They're beating that war drum. And for people to step right into that, just wild. You guys know the playbook and you're still going to go and just be like, okay, well, let's do it.
Not in my head. Yeah,
Race war
in a yes motion and in agreement.
Race war.
That's the idea of vote with your dollars. This idea of your money goes towards the best idea, the best company. And I think you were nailing it right on the head.
Ooh, the best racist.
Putting the dart right into the middle of the, is it a bullpen? A target. You're hitting the target right in the center by stating the idea that a GoFundMe account or some sort of financial donation campaign platform is going to have a version of vanilla ice cream over here and a chocolate ice cream, and then the viewers are going to vote on which idea or which cause is the most correct or valuable.
Sometimes the chocolate ice cream cone pierces the heart of the vanilla ice cream cone with the tip of the cone
at a track meet.
At a track meet. So
over
we have
$500,000 in your GoFundMe for that, and then sometimes the vanilla ice cream cone calls the chocolate ice cream cone a different word for chocolate.
So vote to support your favorite skin color, race group of people on a GoFundMe campaign, and then after the campaign closes, the person, the individual, the organization with the most money and the funds will determine where culture is going, I guess. Is this how we're deciding where
like
culture
full circle from Ari Shafir doing The Amazing Racist as a skit in the early YouTube days.
And what's scary about this is, once again, and this is just a cultural thing, and if you want to get bent out about it, that's all fine. White dudes do not band together. It's the thing we don't do. We are the most beastly of everybody, but we don't band together. That's our deal. We like it's something every young man notices during your fighting years, because if you had fighting years, by the time you get my age, them are done and nothing but pain and memories. But if you had those, you notice if a fight's happening and say there's Mexican in there, you're going to get the whole burrito. If it's a black guy in there, every dude's going to jump in there. If it's a white dude, all the other white dudes will go, huh? See that fight? Did you see that shit? Wow, he's getting his ass kicked by like 4 dudes. Like, they don't help each other. There's only been, that I can think of, historically, 2 times that just white people, period.
Sure.
Banded together. And one was Teutoburg Forest, where they demolished Rome. Rome never tried to expand again after that. Just destroyed the whole Roman legions to a person. Their camp followers, the cook, everybody gone. Like, and then the Great Northern Invasion. And then that time Marcus got pissed because they took away his Ricolas.
I'm raising my hand in excitement because I have something to contribute to the conversation, as I'm not identifying as a white person per se.
Why are you always sucking on Swiss stuff and promoting it?
I like Switzerland.
Like, that's the super whitest white.
That is pretty white.
That's like yodeling off in the mountains white.
And the fucking home of central banking, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know it's on the docket. We're going to deliberate further. But in this moment, I want to just kind of, what do they call it? Create a skiff or a secure communication platform where I describe to the white guy, the Magic the Gathering players amongst our listening audience. You talked about how white guys don't band together. This is true. This was seen in the collectible card game Magic the Gathering, where banding is a keyword ability, and it's just what you'd think it is. So banding allows creatures to attack or block together as a group. This is known as a band. When creatures with a banding attack, all but one creature in the band must have banding, and up to one creature without banding can also join the band. So if you have a monster that's going to attack the other player, it can band with other monsters together. So bands are blocked as a group, and the player controlling the banding creatures assigns how combat damage is distributed among the creature in the band. So when it comes to blocking, only one creature needs to have banding. So this is an example of how white guys, when you tell them to band together, even in Magic the Gathering, they still get confused about the concept of banding.
Yeah, we're not good at it. I was confused with the whole thing too. Like, I don't know, just give me an axe and where's the bad guys and I'll go deal with this.
The keyword ability was eventually removed from Magic the Gathering playing cards going forward because no one could understand how to band together.
Yeah, that's because that was all nerdy white kids that played that.
And they still could not band together.
Yeah, we're the worst at it. We're like, no, you guys all have a common enemy. Oh, huh. Like, and that's the end of it for us.
So I realize the clock is ticking, and it's my time to make a move in this game here. So here is the debate prompt I'd like to propose for tonight. And I already proposed it in the group chat, so don't get angry at me. I warned you guys about this. Tonight's debate prompt is, drum roll please, Eurovision is a religious song contest. And I will be on the pro camp for this. You guys have your positions ready?
I am I judging the contest?
The debate prompt is Eurovision is a religious song contest. I'm taking the affirmative that Eurovision is a religious song contest.
Oh, Karen says that her son, Karen B, we love you, Karen B. She says her son's yearbook crazy full of racism. Like I totally believe it, because like if you go on X now, about a quarter of the videos in the for you feed, and I don't know why it be on my for you. I don't watch racist things, and about a quarter of them are why do we even want blacks in our society, and it'll show them like, you know, like a peaceful like picnic in Switzerland with, you know, kids dancing around, and then some black guy just comes in like and steals the picnic basket. You know, that's not. Yeah. But it's like a bunch of videos like that,
and then an inept forest ranger comes bumbling through.
Yeah.
The black dude jumps out and like stuffs the empty picnic basket over his head, runs away with his adventurous little buddy.
Yeah. And I seen.
I never thought Yogi the Bear was a pedophile.
Well, you know, I don't know if that word is acceptable anymore. Isn't it
PDF file?
Oh yeah. No, isn't it minor attracted person? A map? Yeah, they're a map now.
How come we didn't think he was a Kevin Spacey?
How come Kevin Spacey's back?
Because Hollywood loves their Kevin Spaceys.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that picture of you sticking your finger in a little kid's butt's okay. You did your time.
I have no idea who Lauren
Daigley.
Daigley.
Oh, she's a singer, not at Eurovision.
Wow. Not at Eurovision. Linz, you got him. Marcus is the one that knew it. Good job.
Yeah. Okay, so if Amy Grant...
Oh, it's Christian singers.
Okay.
Yeah, Christian singer. So if Amy Grant refused to wear shoes, the next evolution of a Christian singer named Lauren Daigle, she refuses to wear
pants.
Brassieres.
Oh, she's a 1970s.
She got nipped out for Jesus.
Yes, and surprisingly, in her music videos, without a brassiere on, 1 million views. I wonder if there's a correlation.
She must be talented.
She must have two great big itty bitty. Okay, this is the porridge is just right size of.
It was like a heavy
protuberance. The protuberance. I'm probably not allowed to talk about protuberances. I already said Megan Thee Stallion had the fattest ass at Coachella, and I stand by that. But then to continue my speech about
she was.
Well, that's because the other one couldn't get to Coachella because they wouldn't let her get in a lift, Marcus. Insensitive.
Oh, okay. So Lyft is like taxi service.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like a forklift or.
That's what she needed.
Like a skid steer loader to move.
And my friend Polly, it's Annie D. Mm-hmm. She says the war drums and bagpipes. Yeah. If they did start beating the war drums, we'd have action then. Brian and I hang out with this older guy named Bruce, and one day we were in a vehicle together, and I was playing Wardruna, and he's like, "What is this?" It makes me like, like, yeah, it's white dude tribal music. It's like, yeah, I get it.
Thank you for returning us to the topic of the prompt of the debate tonight. The debate is Eurovision is a religious song contest. Now you hear this statement. This is my opening statement. You hear this statement and you think, no, you're wrong. Eurovision is not religious. They don't allow religious content. They don't allow Christian singers in the contest. They don't allow.
I would have had
singers
to make
that in the contest. I don't see any Buddhist music in the song contest. European vision for peace in the European countries through song is the purpose of the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, I'm arguing that it is indeed a religious song contest. Now, how can Eurovision be considered a religious song contest if the content of the lyrics and the dance and the presentation of the song entered into the contest seems to be not religious, a-religious, secular, without a religious bent? And I would say, again, I'll check my notes, Eurovision is a religious song contest because religion is part of culture, and the European Song Contest being a part of arts and entertainment and culture, therefore must include religion because religion is part of culture. So now we're at the part where I explain how.
Well, Lynn says she's going to send you Ricolas, Marcus. You better respond.
I'm talking a lot tonight. I'm going to need those Ricolas. I have
you got a Ricola donor, man.
AlanMarcus.com. It'll connect you with an email address. We'll figure out how to transport the Ricola.
Does that require a courier? Yeah, a permit and a courier, like maybe one of those people with the little suits, like that
courier and courier.
Like they come over directly from Switzerland, and then as they show up to your door with your Ricolas, they got like a little horn.
It's like a United States Postal Service package parcel inside of a UPS box, inside of a FedEx box, inside of a DHL delivery.
It's like a turducken of mail.
And if Marcus doesn't answer the door in Lederhosen, they won't give it to him.
This is the Trojan horse of culture. This is the Russian nesting doll inside of the Trojan horse of culture.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. I know you know it, Marcus.
We know.
Don't pretend like you don't.
Bright copper kettles.
I don't know songs.
And warm woolen mittens. Brown paper packages tied up.
Let me watch
No.
Poppins promoted witchcraft.
That's
drug use. They were popping into pictures. They were having tea parties on the ceiling. They were all high. That's the devil's work, and we won't have it in this house.
That was never a song in Fiddler on the Roof. Okay.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. No. No, I don't watch gay plays, but I did.
Returning to my argument about
bed knobs on broomsticks,
about religion in songs in the Eurovision Song Contest. Apparently, Croatia in 2017 had a song called "My Friend" by Jacques Hudek. The song begins very preachy, saying everything is either a miracle or not. The chorus begins with the line, "I pray you see the light and find your way," and another line suggests that life is a miracle we are, in quotes, given. It's all very evangelical. Even the visual presentation of the song is particularly offensive when you can consider the guy's abhorrent views on homosexuality while singing to an inclusive audience of the Eurovision Song Contest. So it is a religious contest. And some religions lose. Some religions lose. Some religions win. This is the nature of the contest.
When you're feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things. Then I don't feel
Ricola.
But yeah, Mary Poppins was all about heavy drug use. What do you think the spoonful of sugar was?
So a karaoke singer singing a Disney song will not enter into the Eurovision Song Contest. The song needs to be original lyrics.
Oh, that's all original songs in the Eurovision? It's not.
This is why I'm telling you it's a culture creation vehicle, and it is indeed a religious song contest.
Whose religion? I mean, because we saw the one from Poland, right? And then there's this one.
So it's a red lit scene. 3 guys. They're on a stage. So 3-piece rock band.
Kill the sound. Oh my.
Yes, he's got this falsetto.
Why does that remind me of Zelensky? Something fierce,
right? Fair.
Fair use indeed. The shorter the clip, the better.
They really cucked out Europe so bad. Like it's insane what they did to Europe. I do not support anything from the later Hosen phase on. That's Christianized Europe. They went in, they eunuched us. Like, I don't support any of this. Get out of here.
The winner of the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest has not yet been announced due to the fact that the contest thing? Yes, this is today's entry, Tuesday, May 13th, the first part of the pre-finale. So they have a Tuesday event, they have a Thursday event, they reduce the entries, they knock people out. So then the participants in the final song contest of 2025 on Saturday will compete. So they have like today, Tuesday and Thursday, where every country entered who is allowed to participate gets to sing their song on stage, and then the voting happens, and then people are eliminated, and then the people that are not eliminated get to participate all together on stage on Saturday, and then after Saturday the audience votes, and there's some metrics. It's very complicated. It's all very mathematical, and I don't understand numbers or math or addition or subtraction or how the votes are tallied. But at the end of the event,
because you're not Kabbalistic, Marcus, and from what I've been told, that if you aren't into Kabbalah, that's all math derived from Kabbalah. Nobody else in the world noticed that, you could take and count multiple things, and then if I have like 2 of a thing over here and 2 of a thing over here, and I put them together, that I now have 4 of a thing. If you didn't have Kabbalah, you didn't know any of that. None of it. It all derives from that. What the fuck? Did you not go through the material? Don't ask. You were told, don't ask dumb questions. You're dumb. Go back through the approved material.
I'm in full agreement that Kabbalah is very important, that gematria is very important. I just clearly stated that I have not devoted enough time and attention to the academy lessons to Gnostically align my worldview and ideology with the correct.
Why'd you even talk?
I just wanted to show you a picture of this Eurovision guy. It's like Mission Impossible. He's in the Vitruvian Man position. I don't think he's from Italy. So there's this cross-pollination of cultural ideas, and people kept saying symbolism will be their downfall, but I see this symbolism of man, Vitruvian Man, and sacred geometry, and he's being held up by the symbolism. So I don't know why people keep saying symbolism will be their downfall.
I think he's being held up by that pipe up there that he's hanging on to.
Is very acrobatic.
I think he's being held up by the dude behind him.
Yeah. And you notice his hands are off to the side, so you know what's holding. Whole lot of that.
So the financial support of this guy doing the Mission Impossible character, kind of a Tom Cruise inspired thing, in the Vitruvian Man position where the arms are straight out. It's the divine proportions of legs and feet and arms and things. The image of a man here. Certainly, this is an entry in the song contest. My long-winded way of saying, as the singer is not just singing a song. This is not a voice contest. This is not American Idol. The Eurovision Song Contest is a cultural creation vehicle that is a religious song contest where each entry has to have a costume, a haircut, dancers, music, stage show, lights, choreography. It's not merely a song, it's more than a song. So we're voting for the entire package, the message, the vibes it sends. It's not the quality of the lyrics of the song. It's not the singer's delivery of the song. The singer can dance a lot, run out of breath, and still sing to the backing track.
Well, that's because they're not Bruce Dickinson, and everybody is subpar compared to Bruce Dickinson, who can run around the whole time, play the guitar, sing, and then fly the plane to the next show. Fuck Steve for not realizing that he's the best.
So Eurovision is a religious song contest because this entry is representing the religion of Italianism. This is representing Italianism, the religion of Italianism.
Then how come it's Eurovision? Why isn't it a television? Why isn't it?
Okay, so Eurovision
all of Europe
is a competition, in which all of the countries in Europe and also for some reason Israel get to participate, where they send an artist or a group to the competition to represent that country.
And England's not allowed to send Bruce Dickinson?
No.
Totally unfair.
I think England usually sends some like trainee freaking bad pop, almost techno people.
Yeah, see, Eddie would step on them.
Yeah.
This is where Riverdance first emerged on the global stage. This is culture creation.
I gotta admit, Riverdance was pretty fascinating. You're like, how the fuck is this happening? That was kind of interesting to watch. I mean, it wasn't something you'd watch twice, but the very first time, you're like, wow, that's wild.
I'd watch it 2 or 3 times as I owned it. I owned it on VHS, so I would watch it multiple times. That is a good criticism for the Eurovision people if they would publish the song contest, the acts, the stage show on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, then it would be preserved for all time.
Have you tried writing them, Marcus?
Writing the lyrics down,
writing Eurovision, expressing your
as an important consultant to Ricola, I would presume that you have some pretty good pull,
right? Direct line with the Eurovision people.
I am pretty tight with Switzerland. Yes.
Suspect.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Switzerland is the country that developed LSD and what we call now the internet. They are also the developers of Eurovision.
Gore invented the internet. He's Switzerland?
Yes. Gore was shortened when they came over from Ellis Island.
Algorithm was a mathematical computation thing developed in Switzerland. This is where CERN is, CERN, CERN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're very familiar.
The Hadron Collider. They
have a whole series of calendars based off of CERN, the collider, and one particular marmot.
What were the
Why are you guys pretending like you don't like CERN? You're dudes. We smash things together for fun. That's what we do. You get one thing and then you have another thing and you're like, well, what if we smash them together? Like, that'd be cool. That's what we do.
That's what we do at Eurovision, dudes smashing together after the events.
Super gross.
Whoa. Pause.
Super gross. Yeah. No, this is why I don't watch Eurovision.
Right? Because there's only so many times you can say no Diddy.
Dude, and are all of them? He's going through court or something like that? I saw. And then you got Kanye posting porn all over the place, walking around with his naked girlfriend, making a Hitler song. You're like,
Oh yeah, no, but the girlfriend thing was like they already split, dude. They split, and then he was like, "I blew my cousin."
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
I forgot about that part. Oh
he has a track on his album which he titled "Cuck," and one of the tracks is Yitler.
It's too much. It's too much right now. It's like all the dumb shit's happening. It's like you can't even have a full show. Like you can't discuss anything yet. There's so many things, and everything's fucking retarded.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's so many groups of people just trying to fraction off and grab onto anything, and no matter how retarded it is, and maybe it makes sense in their world because the things are so wild right now. I don't know what the fuck anybody else is seeing. It's crazy.
I gotta go feed the dog. I'll be back in a few.
He's fat.
So the artistic short film set to music and historical speeches by great leaders has been removed from YouTube in a video which we cannot show, in a song which we cannot play.
Well, that's because YouTube has something about against boxcar mustaches. They're very racist about mustaches about it. Can't even run a boxcar anymore.
Huh. It's almost as if releasing a video that gets removed from the most convenient platform to view the
Like
video.
if you try to do a boxcar, it would straight up look like a small animal had tried to crawl under your nose and taken residence.
If I tell you you can't jump into that boxcar and ride that boxcar down the line, you're gonna go and jump in the boxcar and ride it down the line. If I tell you,
I hate trains.
Okay,
I tried to go take Karen invited me to go speak at Flatoberfest, and I took a train, and that train just had to eat people along the way to keep going. And I don't think I'd do that again.
It's a fair question. Would you do it again?
Not on a train.
Not on a
Not
train.
in a train. Not in a plane. Maybe in a car.
Would you at a bar?
Yeah, I did go to the bar. I got a standing ovation at the bar. It was cool. And then got to watch everybody sing karaoke. They had a good time. It was pretty hilarious. Brian Stavely's a hoot.
Yeah. I'm ready to look at some comments. I think there are some valuable comments in the comment text fields on Rumble. I see when will people get tired of crazy? Rumble.
It doesn't appear anytime soon.
Another question asked by Dingo Ate My Baby, asking how a specific country is considered being included in Europe. So the vision of the Eurovision Song Contest is to expand the borders of Europe to include all countries of the world. They've expanded to Australia, certainly Russia, I think, is on the Asian continent, part of the Europe thing. So Europe being a continent is kind of a confusing nomenclature. The vision of Eurovision is to encompass all of culture. Every country will bow their knee and recognize Eurovision as
It's just a big hodgepodge of everybody's really shit music.
Yeah, Eurovision. Everyone will bow to Eurovision as the one true song contest.
And you're here because you love us, Linz, and we love you too. That's why. That's why you keep showing up, because you are awesome. Yeah. You should write a strongly worded letter, Marcus.
So I do have some strongly worded letters, more than 4 characters. I'm embiggening and emboldening my vocabulary.
Well, that's good.
It's part of the rhetoric in the debate format. Now, I haven't attended the proper debate university put on by you know who.
Oh, dude,
done that yet.
You haven't signed the non-disclosure agreement. You obviously didn't read the materials. You didn't attend the either university. Are you even taking this seriously?
I know that you're questioning my credentials. Why should I be a part of the Trinity? Why should I go through apotheosis? Why should I be, moving on from my form of demigod to supernal ruler of the known universe?
Did they do that? If you win the debate, that's what you get. That's like the prize. If you make the best points and then call them the most names.
Well, this is sort of another conversation for a skiff, a secure. What is this? When they're talking about UFOs and orbs and military secrets and things, when they talk about things privately and not in a public area, they talk about it in a skiff. And now that you've brought private matters into a public matter, we're no longer in the skiff. Now I have to address the allegations of my lack of credentials for being in the Deliberating Dog-Faced Dudes live StreamYard room tonight to defend my position that Eurovision is a religious song contest.
You should start your strongly worded letter with a Venn diagram. That's smart. That's like presidential style.
A Venn diagram is at least 2 circles, but we are determining that it requires a minimum of 3 circles to be considered a Venn diagram. And then the intersectionality of the 3 ideas. Are you saying that I am not one of the 3 circles?
Did you read the material?
I read my material and decided what my thoughts were going to be before the debate. Was I supposed to agree with your position and not argue against it?
Well, if you want to be in the club, Marcus, you don't get to say dissension type words. And if you don't understand the materials, you don't say any words, and you're a stupid.
Okay, I am caught up. Sorry, you caught me slacking. I was a little bit napping. I understand you're saying dissension, and we're all about ascension on the 5th dimensional plane using our light codes.
Yes. What else would you use?
I just flash my light codes.
Do you know the codes?
They are Da Vinci, and they are divine.
Okay, you pass.
I had a lot of nervous energy. I was holding in a lot of flatulence, and now I can just relax and let it out.
That's weird because my dog just farted too.
That's how we know the light codes are working. It's synchronicity.
Yeah, you released it.
When everyone farts together.
You released it. It was like, yeah, you stink, dude.
Okay.
I even held a straight face through the fart.
I'm waiting for Steve to return before we get into the narrative of the, as I'm calling it, cost of hollow narrative.
Cost.
Okay.
Nice.
So the narrative, the legend and the mythology of what we will be referring to as the cost of hollow, where the number may have been as many or more 6 million.
Sounds like a pizza party to me.
Ovens, gas chambers. I don't think there was fusillades. Did they have pew-pews, bullets emerging from rifles, standing against a wall in the cost of hollow?
Not that much of that. It was mostly a lot of cooking in ovens. Little bit of that. They had to throw that in for stories.
The headline of this story reads, there were allies and there were axes, and the axes had to say that they give up, that they are done fighting in the theater. And there was a D-Day, and there was a story. And when the allies speaking English returned to their English-speaking homes, there was a lot of feeling and guilt involved with using heavy machinery against other participants in the dramatic theatrical.
Oh, you mean like leveling Dresden to where two bricks didn't stand on top of each other? Quit trying to step on the keyboard.
Yes. So there was a lot of deconstruction and there was a lot of reconstruction involved during this worldwide event. I think this was the second worldwide event that occurred. So the narrative of the cost of hollow was a necessary explanation in a literary form describing the conditions of people enclosed in a cage. They were moved from their comfortable living situation, enclosed within a cage, and heroes, maybe dressed in green and camouflage patterns. They wore a certain uniform and had a certain distinction, being enlisted and sent abroad to participate in the event. So the cost of hollow narrative assuages guilt and bad feelings that people had for a very embarrassing situation.
A sewage is guilt. If by a sewage you mean exponentially multiply,
sure.
That wasn't the definition I ever heard of for a sewage, but yeah, no, that is just one giant guilt fest right there. That was half the half of what has castrated Europe.
So this connects to mustached men.
Although I gotta say, this whole thing with the moving in immigrants, that's not new, because when I was in Germany back in the mid-90s, that was a pretty well-known thing. And the soldiers, they would define the areas where they hung out, and we weren't supposed to go to those areas because there was a good chance, GI, you were going to not come back in all one piece.
Yes. Yeah. The cost of fighting for democracy and spreading democracy, it was very costly. It cost a lot of lives and buildings and land and time. That the time spent not going to college or raising families, the time spent abroad for Americans who pledged allegiance to the flag and were subordinate to their chain of command in the club that they joined.
You know how crazy they are with that? Do you know that like first world, second world, third world have absolutely nothing to do with living conditions? It's political affiliations. Mm-hmm. First world countries are democracies. Second world countries are communist, and third world countries are neither. They don't have one of those two political affiliations. It has nothing to do with anything else. So they try and make it, you're only a first world country, you're only an awesome country if right. You're a democracy. So Russia's not considered a first world country because even though they're a democracy at this point, but they're classically a communist society. So then it looks like China and Russia are somehow behind the United States, even though pretty much no real markers are they behind. Not technologically, not financially, but politically.
Okay. So if our listeners are a little bit lost, let me catch them up to speed real quick. I have been
you'll make it clear for them. That's what you do. You're known for it.
I've been harping on this idea, the definition of a survivor, expanding that definition of survivor to include a specific incident being at an educational campus. So a person who decides that they are in an education program and attend a property set aside for educational purposes, if they are enrolled in that program, allowed on that property, and metal emerges from a longer metal tube forcefully on the premises, and that event happens and people survive that, to what degree are they a survivor? Now, I was arguing that they have to have metal pierce their skin for them to declare themselves having survived the event.
See, and in my opinion, I'm with Steve on that. Like, if the metal pierced your skin, you survived getting shot. Like, you were still at the event, even if you didn't. You know, like in war, if you go out, like, everybody that was there was at war. You get a Purple Heart if you get shot. That's like it is an extra special thing, but you know, but you weren't not there just because you didn't get hurt. Honestly, didn't you get lucky if you didn't get hurt? I mean, it's not skill. Let's be real about that. You're out there, things are zinging around. You're not. All right. There's no skill. It's just straight luck.
Again, disclaimer, I may have been hallucinating. I may have been causation, correlation, not understanding the chain of linear history in the events. The Cost of Hollow event that put men in cages and required other men to free a certain group of men from those cages, known as the Cost of Hollow, became an important narrative to the point that in 2025, anyone who questions or denies the legitimacy or existence of the Cost of Hollow could face criminal fines, deportation, slaps on the wrist, and spankings.
Yeah, I switched over to rollies. No more pre-mades. And I cut down severely. I'm only doing like 2 packs of rollies a week. That's pretty.
So what then is the definition of a survivor of the Cost of Hollow?
Well, it would have to be somebody that lived in a German controlled area, I would have to say, for sure.
We can allow it to sit as a rhetorical question without having a sufficient answer by the end of the stream tonight.
Like, you couldn't claim that living in a non-controlled area, I don't think. And isn't it amazing how, like, so many of them, you know, there's not that many supposedly, but they all live to be like 100. You're like, that's amazing.
There's a whole genre of educational videos.
Like, what were they giving them in them? What were they cooking them up in them fucking ovens right there? Like fucking
proving or disproving the mathematical, statistical probability of the event happening. So the bodies in furnaces or chambers filled with oxygen that was poisonous, whether or not the number is over or under 9,000 or 6 million,
or delousing spray, one or the other.
Right. So again, a lot of people are really obsessed with the guy who has the boxcar lower than his nose and above his top lip.
Well, that's because I'm mad about the delousing, because some people like to have fleas and lices and stuff, and I don't. The fleas suck. You know, occasionally you sleep with the dogs, you get the fleas, and that's why you keep birds, because then the birds pick the fleas out, and then it's, you know, It's a cycle of life, circle of life.
So the men who were put into cages had all of their body hair removed. Some of them had their skin used as lampshades. Some of them were turned into bars of soap.
Can you imagine the smell? Greasy little fuckers.
So the necessity of the horrific story of the time people were locked into a cage where they thought really hard about what they did. In fact, they thought so hard they had to concentrate. And they might have called this place the place of concentration. So they thought long and hard about where they should live and where they should not live. Their story is important because the liberation of the survivors of the cost of Hollow, who concentrated really hard and thought about their existence and their purpose for living, their story is important, and we cannot deny their story, because in denying the story of the concentration of the individuals in the makeshift home, some might call it a campsite. If we are to deny their story of surviving their camp out, then the soldiers who attended their camp out and brought them marshmallows it would become comical, wouldn't it? To deny that.
It would be downright criminal. It would. I can see why Germany has those laws. I can.
Right. And America might have those laws too.
And
I'm arguing this is good and necessary, because to deny the event at the campground where men and women and gays and handicaps and colors and all the slurs that we can imagine, they had to be put in timeout to think long and hard about what they were contributing to society. And certain people didn't like their contribution to society. Okay, so to deny their survival and their liberation from the campsite that they were required to stay in until they were liberated from that, is to then deny the heroism and the superiority of the returning veterans.
The greatest generation.
So when those men returned from the theater of war, after D-Day and storming beaches and swimming and getting their feet wet in the sand and going up into that situation where...
And making sure all the strong and brave ones were dead and the ones that didn't die were crazy.
Yes, those boats...
Who you are. You go to war, you don't come back right.
Those boats that landed on those shores on that day of D, they could have been... Bombs could have been dropped on those ships. Every soldier on that beach could have been wiped out and not allowed to reach the shore, to then reach the campsites, to then free the people from the overexposure in the ovens.
Very, very fair skin, delicate.
So the act of heroism, and when they return to civilian life, then the story, the legend of their acts of heroism are necessary for everyone, family members included, to feel important. And those who returned unalived, in bags for their bodies, in caskets, maybe cremated, maybe just a toe, maybe just an ear, maybe just a dog tag, the people that returned not in a living state to their family, the story of the campsite and the marshmallows helps them, and that's the purpose of it. To deny it is to fail to understand the purpose of it, and is to be very mean and bigoted and hateful.
I've heard that said about Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Steve, we burned your s'more.
Oh no.
The marshmallow fell into the fire, and then it collected pieces of grass. We put it back in towards the chocolate. The chocolate was vegan chocolate and contained no actual cocoa in it.
Oh, that's smart. California prairie and smoked this through an 8-inch bamboo stick. I'll have to try that. What's up, Rose? Evil Rose is in the chat.
The doppelganger?
Yeah, she's this is Evil Rose. Because there's no 777. If she has a 777, she's good Rose. This is Evil Rose.
Okay.
Important distinctions.
It is. What's up, Lucy? What's up, Lone Star? Horrible mistake. Yeah, 6 million was a horrible mistake. This is bad math. You know what? That's because we don't know Kabbalah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not good with that. That's not our thing. That's for small hats, so we don't know the maths. Like, it's very confusing. You don't see anybody named Magnus doing your fucking accounting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are we in agreement that we will listen to every song in Eurovision 2025? We will deliberate and commiserate and determine our top 5 songs. So next Tuesday we can fight for our right to choose a favorite country. And then we will determine the true and legitimate winner of the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I'm gonna have to bow out of this. That would be more pop music than I've listened to in my whole life.
So you'd rather trust the voting of the European Commission in the song contest?
I would rather sit on a seatless bike and let a piano drop on top of my head.
That would be performance art,
right?
Now I don't know that sort of gore would be allowed on the YouTubes.
Only if Ben was dressed like Jesus.
Okay, so Kanye,
if you were killing Jesus in that fashion, it would be acceptable on Eurovision.
Right. Now, in 2006, cover of Rolling Stone magazine, a man appears in Jesus' face. Remember this? The man who appeared in Jesus' face, crucifix form, crown of thorns, blood dripping down his face.
Was it Mel Gibson?
Not Mel Gibson.
No, the other Mel Gibson.
Yeah. No, this was Eurovision, not a police traffic stop.
Man, Mel Gibson's entertaining. This other thing sounds shitty.
When the name was Kanye West, and Kanye West was in Christ's face on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, he was saying that
I would have never guessed Kanye West in this.
George W. Bush, I think, hated a color of the skin of a person.
Oh yeah.
And there was a Katrina event or a hurricane or some levee broke, and some people had to be displaced from their homes because they were underwater, and not in a mortgage sense, but in a physical, literal flood. Like Noah's built a boat already, type of a flood. So it was biblical. It was very biblical, and these biblical stories continue to this very day. And this is why the Eurovision Song Contest is a religious song contest. Because every song contains an ideology, a point of view, a frame of reference.
Do you know what
Does that inherently make it religious in nature?
The
How does that make it inherently or like solely religious in nature, uniquely religious in nature?
Are we talking capital R religion or lowercase r religion?
Well, you're the one that put forth the prompt, man.
Are we-
Religion
is
is you meant it when you created the original prompt. Like it's a religious.
To clarify your argument, is this a tax exempt capital R religion?
I mean, is that what you're saying when you call it a religious event? Or you call them religious songs?
Marcus, say hi to Linz, you dick.
Hi, Linz, you dick.
No, I was calling you a dick. You shouldn't call her a dick.
Oh yeah, don't call.
I didn't assume anyone's gender. You did, you dick.
Well done, sir.
So you concede that I win the debate?
I concede.
I know that we had a comment in chat from Freethinker59 saying that he loved our shows when they were actual debates, but he still loves us anyway.
Dude, we are trying so hard to get debates, bro. And like honestly, this whole thing that happened with Marty was super weird for me. I was excited. I thought Marty wanted to do a little friendly spar, which sounded cool. And it just went completely sideways. And then when we looked into it, he has like a non-disclosure agreement in his fucking shit, and it's super culty, and he got super weird. And it says you can't question anything or bring anything up, and if you don't know the right answer, you're a dummy, and you should have fucking looked at the materials. And I'm just like, wow, what the fuck happened? You know, and like I don't understand. And we've tried to get debates and we've had a bunch of people agree and a bunch of people back out. I don't know why. You know, it's not like we were trying to hate on anybody. Just be a little like we wanted to have like frenemies. You know, it's cool to have. You know, a lot of people actually were irritated because we had different points of people bringing up different points, and they want to hear the echo chamber thing. But we wanted people with different opinions and to hash things out. And the way the world works on most things is both polarized sides are wrong. You know, that's just the way it is. This is basic Hermeticism 101. Like when you're on a polarity, both polarities think that they're correct, but in order to rectify it, you have to step out of the polarity, and it's, you know, hot, cold, you step out, it's all temperature. And you're like, okay, well, then we all like this temperature. We like to take our showers at 90 or whatever temperature people take showers at. I don't fucking know.
Well, it's 90 degrees outside, or the temperature of the water heater is above 90 degrees. So it's very, very hot water. Am I in hot water right now? Do you guys hate me? Am I out of the Trinity?
No, we love.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So I guess my final
you guys should have seen Steve in the chat before the show. He got Marcus bad. It was great. He tried to pin Marcus down on something, and he got walked around the mulberry bush something fierce. It was fucking hilarious.
Shot through the heart, and you're so vain. You give love a bad name. I have a final slide to show.
In prison, every dude that had a guitar and one of them little things that did that, he played that song consistently. It's why I know it.
For my Tuesday sermon closer, I have a final slide.
Okay.
Is it the electric slide?
It's a boogaloo.
Okay.
It's a jigaboo. It's I don't know if I'm allowed to say those terms. Okay, so these are the statements of beliefs of the Gnostic Church and Academy. This is the PDF. I'm not going to read all of them. This is their statement of belief. Okay, so now that we all believe the statement of beliefs exists, and we believe the beliefs held within the statement of beliefs, we hold them to be true, and we hold them as our own beliefs. It's a mystery school thing. Okay. All right, so let's solve the mystery.
I totally forgot last week. Dude was talking to me when he was going to start a mystery school, and I was all into it, and I was down to help him with it and everything else. And then it's just going to be a podcast, and then it was a church podcast. Like, I'm out. That's why I hadn't talked to him in so long, because I was like,
that is all right.
Right. That sounds horrible.
Here's
like when I heard mystery school, I imagined at least like a week, a year, or something like that, or 2 weeks. People getting together, doing actual experiments, not just bullshit.
Living in community together, having a good time.
And then I listened to his thing on Sunday, and God, wow, so bad. Like, every motherfucker just regurgitates like Jordan Maxwell type shit and Theosophical Society bullshit, and nobody actually studies anything. Like his stupid nonsense with that making Ymir into a fucking hermaphroditic being. Okay, that's fine. If you want to make Adam into that, that's fine by me. You know, it's your thing. But Ymir absolutely wasn't hermaphroditic. That's why it took a dumbla, and the dumbass said bull. It's a cow. Cow is a female specifically, and it's through the licking of the rimey ice, the salty ice, and the mixture of their fluids and her leaking out milk that life sprang. It took male and female. It wasn't a hermaphroditic thing, you fucking numbnut.
So,
read the whole fucking story. And you know, and fucking Valhalla isn't heaven. Like there's a bunch of places that are for the dead or the afterlife or whatever in heathen cosmology. Not just one. That specific one is for the shock troops, the warriors, the ones who love fighting. That's nothing like your thing where fat little angels sit around. And actually, from what I understand, they aren't even like they get
They're
portrayed.
called cherubs. They're cute.
Sit around and sing, and I don't know, make like cards and stuff, make like Mother's Day cards and stuff. I don't fucking know.
Like oracle decks.
Yeah, something. You know, they're nothing the fucking same. Nothing the fucking same.
I have my slide prepared. It's the correct slide this time.
Even our hell isn't like a burning punishment. It's not even a punishment in any way, shape, or form. Oh, this is super cute. One of these kittens is trying to curl up with Bubba. But we actually have a punishment afterlife. It's where you know, oath breakers and brother killers, things like that go. And they're attacked by dogs consistently, and it's not a great place. We have one. It's not hell. Oh, Cammy. Everybody needs to, you know, Cammy, she was in the chat the other day, and Cammy Nodell, anybody that doesn't know her, and she thinks she's not a good presenter. But the thing is the things that she presents are absolutely brilliant. And, you know, there's some people that can baffle you with bullshit, and she's not one of them. She's not that person. But if you listen to her, she's fucking brilliant. So everybody should go check out Cammy Nodell. She's on the Globebusters channel. And she's an absolutely wonderful person. And I wish she put out more work. And
I appreciate shouting out people who have great ideas.
She's somebody that if you were going to have a mystery school, you would absolutely want her at the mystery school. She's not a pomp and primp person that's going to stand up on a stage and make you clap and all that, but she will walk around and show you some shit that will blow your mind and really change your perspectives on things. She's like the perfect teacher at a mystery school. This is the kind of thing I was excited for, not this nonsense where it's, oh, you can join my cult where you can't question anything. And even if you are questioning it out of genuine want for an answer, well, you're a stupid head and you should have read the material provided to you by the gospel of Marty. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
I'm prepared to read the material. The material is entitled Membership Terms and Conditions. Private memberships at the Gnostic Church and Academy are a commitment not only to support the work of this church, but also a commitment for the betterment of ourselves and our communities. Becoming a member doesn't just mean buying a few extra perks through the Academy. It means a total dedication to the great work that God has placed before us and to live every day as a walking meditation on Christ. Just as our Masonic brothers tell us, our organization is dedicated to making good men better, which means we fully expect that our members have a dedication to personal and spiritual growth. It is highly encouraged that you participate when and if you can in the online community that we have on various platforms. Let's look into this further. We require and expect all of our members to conduct themselves in a decent, respectful, and mature manner. This includes, but is not limited to, leaving any sense of entitlement at the virtual and literal doors. Having a controversial sense of humor is a must. Taking responsibility for one's own education and searching for information first before asking for any explanations. Generally, we do not see it as part of our mission.
Questions.
As part of our mission to teach basic human decency and good behavior, please come equipped. What's your statement? Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. This
Take
is part of
responsibility. Don't be a dummy.
This is the membership agreement that we are reading.
Read all the materials, and you know which materials. Only the approved materials. Don't read other materials.
Understanding one's own triggers and engaging in humble self-reflection when needed or pointed out by others is a requirement for the members.
You showed that when you flipped out about freaking shit just because you can't debate things that you say. Although, according to Marty, debate is dumb and pointless. But if you just look at his channel, he's sitting there shitting on like archaics who won't come debate him. And that was just recently at Jay Dyer and weird.
We celebrated the Marty Leeds takedown of Jason and Archaics' ideas.
Thought it was great.
Did a great job of critiquing those ideas. Now, when it was our turn in the cycle to critique Marty's ideas, and in fact, we invited Marty, leaving an open invitation saying, I guess if you have a schedule conflict, we can figure something out, but let's collaborate and talk about this resacralizing idea. And especially to mention paganism, this is the calling card of Benjamin Balderson. You want to talk paganism? Have the conversation with the guy who's into that idea, the Odinism, especially the Norse paganism. But the no name calling or attacks of characters of any kind, we only point out people's behavior, faults of conduct, or errors in thinking. So I'm a little confused. Let me read this again. This is in the members' conduct terms and conditions. It says no name calling or other attacks of character of any kind. We, who is we? We, the Gnostic Academy, only point out people's behavior, faults of conduct, or errors in thinking. So who are the we in this statement? I don't quite know. Maybe we'll get that clarified for us. There's a few more points here.
I don't feel like we will, but the next one is a good one here. It's a.
Mm-hmm. It is expected that private members familiarize themselves with the material we present. Again, who is we? I guess for the purpose of this, it is the Gnostic Academy. The material Gnostic Academy presents, especially the basics, and either have read or will read our books, Gnosticism Defined, the Tenets of the Order, and the Statement of Beliefs. I showed the Statement of Beliefs that was available to me as a non-member. It is not necessary to agree with 100% of what is presented in these documents. However, one should align with the majority of the points there. We the deliberating dog-faced dudes, have agreed with and aligned with the majority of the points the YouTube channel ministry Church Religion Academy of Gnostic Academy has put out. We haven't been in conflict with those ideas. Just we've had some questions about one idea. Now there's more on the membership terms here. Before you sign up, let's read through these quickly. Criticism, especially unsolicited, is generally not welcome unless permission is granted. It points out specific strategic errors or when provably false information has been presented. I'll pause.
Don't disagree. But even when it's false information, provably, also don't disagree, or that little midget fuck will flip and lose his mind.
The next bullet point, I'm trying to not say the B word. The next item in the agreement reads, one's own personal preferences or opinions as to which or how information is being presented are generally not welcome unless specifically requested. I guess that would be at the request of the academy itself, who would then initiate the invitation to have a conversation about the sermon and the content of it.
Don't question the cult leader, motherfuckers. Straight up.
Don't do it.
Okay. So a state of victimhood will not be tolerated. I don't know who would be tolerating victimhood anywhere. Crickets, chirps.
I mean,
Pussy Hat Convention. They like that.
Yeah.
Also small hats.
I got 4 more membership requirements. All members are expected to improve and employ their critical thinking skills, honesty, and compassion with each other and themselves at all times. At all times. None of the information.
Like critical thinking skills, regurgitate what cult leader says. If you have a different opinion, keep that shit to yourself.
Yep.
Or else be excommunicated from the cult.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you violate your NDA, the cult will come and sue you.
This is the point about the NDA. So none of the information exclusive of private members shall in any way, shape, or form be shared, reproduced, or copied anywhere at any point without explicit permission from the church. That's fair.
Boy.
That's fair.
Boy, I admittedly, I'm not a Christian. Maybe I'm a little bit lacking in knowledge here. I have been to churches. I have Christian relatives. Maybe they didn't tell me about the non-disclosure agreements because maybe the non-disclosure, not talking about the non-disclosure agreement is part of the non-disclosure agreement. I don't fucking know. Is that a normal thing for a church to have a non-disclosure agreement?
I guess I haven't joined enough churches and then been kicked out of enough churches to
have you ever you went to evangelical college and everything, and you're from a super Christian background, as is Steve. Sure. I would like to know if either of you have ever been requested or know anybody else to sign a non-disclosure agreement for the church.
Nary once. Not never.
Huh. Not never?
No.
Never.
Okay. So 2 more points in the membership agreement.
Sounds like somebody that signed a non-disclosure agreement would say.
Idol worship of any kind is obviously prohibited, especially at which may be directed towards any of the leaders of this organization. Idol worship is prohibited. And the final part of the terms and conditions.
So hold on. I need to know what an idol is here, because if there was something that you were only able to give adulation to and not able to question and not able to even say anything about anything in any negative connotation about, and you could only be like glowing and cheery about, would that fall a little bit under idol?
Idolatry. Okay.
I'm not familiar with it. It's not a thing that we talk about really. So in my thing,
The idol worship of any kind.
I
what if part of your worship is to play Billy Idol covers?
That's maybe allowed.
You think?
Would all the weddings be white then?
It's a nice day to start a girl.
So
I knew we'd get back to racist.
The final line item here in the terms and conditions. Any of these terms and conditions, including the membership fee, the money paid to be a member, are subject to change if and when we see fit. In which case, we will inform all of our private members via email, writing, and or through other means of contact.
That's nice.
Yeah.
By joining our church and academy as an exclusive private member, you, the signer of the agreement, agree to all the points above, as we've read them. If the pastoral leadership team determines that if and when any of the above terms have not been fulfilled, we, the pastoral leadership team, reserve the right to terminate our membership or your membership. They remain members, but you don't get to keep your membership if they say you violated their terms. We reserve the right to terminate your membership and ban you from any group and interaction at any time without reimbursement. We also reserve the right to terminate the private membership as a whole if we deem necessary. Blessings. Signed. Can you read cursive?
Now, I agree. There's a little debate coming up in the chat. I like it. Whether we could equate some of this to loyalty, and 100%. I would state a fine line, and this is one of the problems with the non-critical thinking society. Is these fine lines, they get lost. You can't really see it. It's got to be very blunt points. And this is why polarization is such a draw. So absolutely loyalty is a thing. And every church or every community should want loyalty out of its members, 100%. Now, to not be able to question anything, now this is absolutely crazy. So like a lot of people would look at me because like I'm against women voting. The final say is in my house is me. There's just no doubt about it. On my farm, it's me. But that doesn't mean that other people didn't put in their opinions on anything that happens. That's a fact. And that wasn't given consideration. That's just asinine.
Is it because of paper cuts?
So then you're a dictator when you don't do those things. Now you're just a weird dictator who's probably going to have very unhappy people around him.
If women hold the paper ballot, they're more prone to paper cuts and they could bleed out in the election.
Yeah, you don't want hanging chads.
Don't want hanging chads.
Problems.
Are you opposed to women using digital electronic Diebold voting machines?
I mean, you against everybody using those.
Okay.
But loyalty is absolutely a very important quality to me, and this is me as a person. That's really number one out of a person, and it's very important. But where you can't question, you can't discuss things, you can't come. You're bound by one person. That's a dictatorship. That's crazy. And then you can't talk to other people about it. That's a fucking cult. That's really weird.
So the sermons are delivered via a live stream, and the church attendance is Sunday mornings in a YouTube chat. So the username in the YouTube chat signifies your attendance in the church sermon, And if you say something in the chat during the church sermon, that's interrupting. If you interrupt the sermon and disagree with the sermon or try to correct or address an issue, that is bans for removal from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, pull up that thing that I screenshotted when I was watching his Sunday one, where somebody even brought in some other cipher for gematria thing, and they're like, no, we don't use those ciphers here. We don't talk about that. Just the Marty Leeds approved cipher is the only one we use. Like what the fuck? You guys can't even talk about other gematrias or whatever the hell. I'm not into that whole thing. Every guy that does gematria is like a crack addict when they're talking, and that's part of why you can't even stop to think about what they said to actually go, that doesn't really make that much sense, and start breaking things down because they're already on to 23 other things. Every one of them I've ever seen, they talk like that, like fucking miss their callings as auctioneers.
You got it here. Was it on a Rumble?
No, I put it in our telegrams.
Yeah, let's see.
I sent you that screenshot of it because I was listening to his resanctifying or whatever the fuck. Resacralizing, like where he tried to turn everything into, and then it was fucked up. Cause then like when he's talking about Valhalla, he's like, yeah, and there's so many shields above so many doors and so many men. That's multiplication. See, it's Kabbalah. Yeah, because they're the only ones that had math. They invented all math. According to him, the week before live, they gave us language. We were walking around before that. Hey, holy fuck! Never mind things like the rock stone and like all kinds of different things, and the languages were completely separate. Alphabet's completely different because we didn't have an alphabet. We had a Futhark. Never mind all of that.
I'm looking for the comments. Some of these comments disappear. I know if you're leaving comments on the YouTube channel and
looking at the telegrams for a screenshot of comment from Marty's thing.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the telegram.
Didn't see it in a private chat to me.
Maybe it did disappear. I know I said it.
Yeah. Huh. So that might be an explainer.
Where he was like, you're only worth your swine, heathen, and I have pearls and fuck, like that shit was wild, dude.
That's a direct.
Like, I can't imagine sitting there as like a grown-ass man typing that to another grown-ass man and having it not be like dialogue for a skit.
It's
true.
It's a true story. There's the receipt, I guess.
I have to pull it up now and read it word for word so everybody can hear the exact.
We got it right here.
Oh, you got it.
Yep.
Oh, listen, you are a swine heathen. I got pearls. Got a pearl necklace while you're on your knees for Jesus. You don't get 1 ounce of my time anymore. Motherfucker, you were up raging at 3:30 in the morning.
That's you giving Ben your time.
You see what this is? I received it at 1:31 a.m. Pacific time. That's 3:30 a.m. Missouri time, fellas. You're up raging at 3:30 in the morning. Freaking, I was sleeping like a baby.
Bro,
like, I don't care. Wow, dude. I'm a swine heathen. Like, you call it, I'm a heathen. I call myself that. That's so weird to try and use that as like a slur, as a slur. And pigs are super smart and loyal and cool. Petunia is actually my favorite animal on the farm.
Sounds like something a heathen would say. Swine.
Swine.
So this isn't a beef. This isn't a pork. This is a chicken.
Tastes like chicken. Chickadee China.
Bark, bark. Heathen swine. Oink, oink, biatch.
Yeah. And I thought you said you didn't want to fight. And I thought you said like 3 emails before that you were done talking to me. Like, what the fuck? And then
For my last email, to reiterate, I am done talking to you. I am no longer going to be corresponding with you, as you are not worth my time. Furthermore, let me add how much not worth my time you are. I am willing to spend as long as it takes so that you understand just how little of my time you are worth, which is none of it. If I haven't made myself clear, here's my 37-page dissertation on why I don't think about you.
Like, dude, 3:30 in the morning, if I'm not having sex with you or you're my child and going through life problems, I'm not thinking about you at 3:30 in the morning. I promise.
I don't know you.
Like, what the fuck? That's crazy, dude.
Right?
What are you doing, man? Why are you up gacking out at 3:30 in the morning? And then the person that he puts up in his little talk is some dude that's in prison, and he's like, yeah, that's what pagans believe. What this one crazy guy I've never heard of myself believes. He didn't even bother going with somebody like the guy who invented modern Asatru. That dude's alive. Steve McNallen, he's alive. You could talk to him. You don't even bother bringing that dude up, the actual head of the biggest heathen religion in the United States. You don't even bother bringing that. You bring up some crazed dude in prison. You're like, yeah, that's what that dude said. That's what pagans believe. Like, what kind of bitch shit is that? You had a chance to actually talk to somebody that actually actively studies it, actively studies other people, has been to tons and tons of bloats. Like, you're not going to talk to that person. You're just going to make stupid shit up because you don't want anybody to fucking not hear what you say, because what you say is the gospel. Don't question that shit.
I think I have the definition here. Here's another slide. The sermon just keeps going on and on. I get more slides to add to it.
Get it? Let's see it, then.
So, y'all are officially a 501c? Question mark? Question mark. Can't wait to make my first donation once I move back to the States. The definition is 508 space lowercase c, left parentheses, the number 1, right parentheses, left parentheses, lowercase a, right parentheses. It is a special classification type of what we would call a 501c3. Yes, just clarifying for him, says Gnostic Academy, that indeed the Gnostic Academy is a 501c1a. I think is that tax code?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the definition of Gnostic Academy, 508c1a.
And is it the piss drinking? Is that what makes all these guys go crazy? Because a lot of them are into the piss drinking.
Yeah,
they're
maybe.
Rubbing it in their eyes and all that.
Maybe.
That might be in the secret teachings and the documents that as non-members we do not have access to. But if members do have access to these documents and want to share them anonymously, there are email addresses on websites. Contact@alanmarcus.com is available to receive documents, PDFs, screenshots, forms, whatever.
Just so we're clear, the 508 designation is one that's normally held for like churches and religious organizations and stuff like that, and it bypasses an application to the IRS to be recognized as a tax-exempt organization.
And that's special.
Yeah.
And that's special. I love you, Cammie. She says everyone should have a heathen friend with no filter. Reality matters. Cammy's the best. And we should go out east again. We gotta get a different truck to do that, though. It's so hard on the truck.
Fucking rent a car, dude.
Stone it.
We got stuck in Wyoming for like freaking a week and a half last time because now granted, my whole drivetrain's basically been rebuilt since then. Like, wow. I blew my transmission. We got that put in, and I did that right before Flatober Hurricane Fest. And we made it out there, and then on the way back, my rear end started coming apart, and I had to get all the U-joints replaced just to limp it home, and had to have a yoke replaced. But it's not, you've really got to rebuild those rear ends, because the ones from the factory, they put this thing called a pinch sleeve in there. And so when you tighten it down, it shortens it. And so that's like a one-time shot. You can't ever use that again. Mm-hmm. And I had to put that on and I got home, and I don't think that rear end was right anyway. So then I had to completely rebuild the rear end, put all new bearings in the entire rear end on the whole nine. Yeah.
Well, if that comes in clear for you. Hurricane Fest, as you call it, 2024.
Yeah.
Look on the bottom. That's Cameo Dell's name. I think it's probably mirrored or blurry or something, but there it is.
See, and Cammy doesn't go on stage, so a lot of people don't get to see her because she's down doing all the awesome experiments and doing the real things that people should be paying attention to, not the glitz and the glamour. And honestly, this is part of why I was so excited about Mystery School, because I'm better at that. The thing is before I start talking, I am so horribly uncomfortable. I want to crawl out of my own skin. And it's not until I start talking about, like, especially if it's nice, if I'm doing an alchemy or something I'm working on. And now I'm just thinking about my project thing and the whole world disappears. And then I can actually sound decent. I'm not for that kind of thing, but I love walking around doing things. And if you're not doing it, you don't really get it. You can read a Chilton's manual 1,000 times and you still won't know how to rebuild an engine. But I could take you and rebuild the engine with you, and you'll know 10 times more than anybody that ever read that book without even reading it. There's a reason it was a hands-on, you did the thing. That's what changes your mind and makes you understand and makes you start implementing those things into your thought process. Because one of the reasons that people aren't implementing things is because they don't do anything with these thoughts. So they understand a bunch of things, but because they've not ever implemented it, it doesn't readily come up into their critical thinking. And that's a problem.
Well, and in fairness, man, the Chiltons and stuff like that were kind of for people who already had a pretty general working knowledge of what they were going to be doing, and it was okay. Well, tool recommendation, part size. If you have to go to the fucking hardware store to go replace some fucking shit, it gave you specs and all that. But they were definitely designed more for, like, at least like hobbyist to, I have to sit here and work on all my own shit, home mechanic.
Yeah. No, it's but still, no matter what, you read the book on something, no matter how well done that book is, you don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
At all.
You guys don't understand anything unless you've written the book that you require your members to have read.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you been?
I think if you are going to make a career speaking about a thing, you should have been.
How many Gnostic academies have you been to?
If you're going to talk about the Gnostic Academy, you should have had the decency to at least have been to it.
Right.
So, in the fight between Jason Archaic's Brushears and Marty, if it bleeds, it leads. Marty?
Mm-hmm.
Smarty? Who would win in a fisticuffs?
In fisticuffs?
Yeah.
Oh, probably Archaics, I would think. Marty's a tiny dude.
Yeah.
It's like imagining Frodo Baggins getting into some fisticuffs with I don't think Archaics is a particularly big guy either, but and he's a sex offender, so he sat around playing D&D and making up shit, stories. He wasn't on the weight pile. Somebody would have dropped a weight on it, dropped him on his head. But I would still say, yeah, Marty's like Frodo. He's like a tiny, tiny dude. He's gonna make the funniest Nazi. Michael. Yeah. I would also love to do so. And even though I'm not generally that person anymore, I've got way too many broken parts in me that just hurt out the gate. Like, and that hand has been broke a lot of times, lots and lots of times. Just the thought, it's like, ugh.
Young men fight old men's wars.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever jammed your finger, that's really what it feels like when you break this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not screaming pain in, like when I flew off the motorcycle and shattered my whole left side. It's not like that. It's more like you jammed something, only it's that feeling times like 10, and it doesn't go away no matter what you do. You want to sit there and go like this and just pull on it. You're like,
yep. And it doesn't fucking, yeah. And it hurts for like 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how bad you fucked yourself up. That's cool. Adam had, Archaics had Adam on.
It's like getting your finger pulled and not expressing gratitude through flatulence is like, why'd you pull my finger and I didn't even fart about it?
See, now that makes me wonder if Archaics is trying to jump on Team White Power bandwagon too.
Maybe.
Why,
Maybe.
what else would, because that's kind of what Adam Green is known for, is he's very anti-Abrahamics,
Yeah.
which I love. I'm not also, I'm also with that. But why is Archaics getting in on it? And the thing is guys, some people you should definitely leave out of your team. Some people you should definitely leave out of your team. You don't want that guy to have your behind your back in any way, shape, or form. You certainly don't want him around your daughters and your wives. That's a fact. He's flat said he's the same dude he was when he was 17, and that 17-year-old violently did things against a girl's will, to the point where she was hospitalized for an extended duration and testified against him. So it's all just very clear. You definitely don't want that around. In fact, probably just make sure that's not around, period, because nobody should have that around. You don't even want that happening to your enemies. You got to have honor. You're no better than they are if you're doing that kind of crap. That's for damn skippy. So just be better off, like, short rope, tall trees.
Having said that, Adam's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Adam's my dude.
I would like to, Steve's upcoming going to get I do like him. Like I said, what he's representing, I don't have a problem with. And I'm assuming that he doesn't realize the history there. Because at one point in time, I was going to talk to Archaics there, but he was oddly growing on YouTube in an insane fashion. And a bunch of people like, yeah, you need to talk to him because he occasionally mentions like Ragnarok and things like that. So people thought I should talk to him, which I understood. And then I got, when I was thinking about it, I believe it was either Rose from Crow or Karen BFE, or both, shot me a message like, hey, you should go ahead and do a background check on that dude. And so I did, and I did it thoroughly. And it was all bad. The information's there, real easy to get, and he's still lying about it. And so apparently nobody did that favor for him, you know, is what I'm going to assume. And that's why you just got to keep these people out of the community. But the thing is then when you speak up against people like that honestly, that caused crazy amounts of anger. I got attacked by his little rabid cult group for a very long time. And it's really wild to see because, you know, anybody that's followed me knows I did 8 years in prison over some weed. A very little bit of weed too. Times have changed. And first session that I went to go medical session, went to go sell, this cop's guarding it, or one of the first ones, and he asked to look at my stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I did 8 years in prison for not even a touch of this. And he just looked in and went, oh, that's nice. Go ahead. Like, I didn't shit for like 3 days. But in prison, those guys, and they're real weaklings, they sit at these tables together and they basically play advanced versions of Dungeons and Dragons. And in the one that I was in, and they didn't do what he's doing exactly. They did a whole Templar and Hashisheen thing, and they come up with super exotic stories. And the more real world, like mythology and stuff you can put into it, and this is just like basic book writing or basic movie making, it then, oh yeah, that's a real thing. That makes it cool. Oh, I know some things about that. And then you get to bring that whole understanding into your thing. And so these guys were super creative at it. You're sitting around in prison, you ain't got nothing but time to think, I promise. And so these guys, they come up with very elaborate stories, and that's what he does. He gish gallops a bunch of fucking different names and picks and pulls out of different things. And by the time he's done saying all of it, you can't go back and piece by piece start going, well, no, this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Marty did that actually to him. Marty actually did that and it's like, here's what the whole thing says. See, now look,
we praised that presentation. Beautiful. We recommended everyone go to Marty's channel and watch that great content. When people put out great content and we like the content and they say it better than we could say it ourselves, we direct them straight to the source. This is great. Look at this content. Spent a lot of time putting it together. Great job. Put a video out for 5 minutes explaining what would have taken us 5 hours to gish gallop around and get to a main point. Great. You simplified it. You got right to the point. I forgot the Assassin's Creed. I wasn't able to recite it.
Marcus, it has been requested for you to duck down 6 inches. More specifically, they would like to see the top of your head and see what is upon it or not upon it.
I have a website. There isn't a private member section because that's how private it is. If you want to see my private,
it's like more private than private.
It's more secret than secret. It's more intimate than a private membership to a Gnostic Academy.
Come on, Marcus. Numerous people want to see whether you're wearing a hat or you got hair. Are you balding like me and Steve?
If you want to see me in a yarmulke,
I've got him.
That is bullshit and lies.
I got him whipped.
There are, in fact, no pictures of you.
Oh, would you look at the time
on your website? None. Zero.
They're not even sure how big your forehead is. They're like, does he have a 5 head or a 6 head?
We are running so short on time tonight. This has been a great Tuesday night sermon from the dog face deliberating dudes, the Trinity, as we are known.
And I would love to debate the Trinity with somebody.
Subscribe to our imaginary Patreon.
I would also debate Brashear's. See, and that's the thing people don't understand is on this, it's okay to be completely against this. You know, I would like frenemies, people I could actually associate with. Like we're supposed to be having a debate with Jim Bob coming up when he quits hanging out with all the Richie people down in Santa Barbara. And
he's like, yeah, so but whatever, and he's all Valley
Girl. Yeah. But
popular girls. He's hanging with the popular.
Yeah,
girls.
he's with the cool girls, all the porn girls, like and Faggy J Dyer. Like, but you know, I like people that I could somewhat, you know, get along with and associate, but I got no problems with people I don't like either. Like, you bet this is supposed to be hash out ideas. Maybe some people I won't care for it at all. And sometimes even if I don't like the person, I'll agree with some shit they're saying. That's, you know, maybe they made a good point. I don't expect any out of him because he's just a dumb shit who like pretends like he fucking read. Again, I did time in prison. It's let's start out with, you can't just send any book into prison. You have to have books directly from the publisher. You can't get them off eBay. They're aware that you could soak pages of books in different substances and then sneak them in or put things in the bindings. They're aware of all that, and they're not going to bother taking the time to do like chemical tests on books before they distribute them and all that. No, they just make it so you can't get a book that doesn't come from the publisher. And let me tell you what, up until the last couple of years, books like the Cabal, or not the Kabbalion, that was kind of decently printed, but it still wasn't in print. Any like books like the Goetia and any type of heavy magical book, those weren't in print. You couldn't get a new copy of them. And so unless it came from a publisher, you didn't get it. So that wasn't sitting around in prison. He was reading fucking shit like Anne Caffrey, like every other fucking prison book. You know, this is why, like, you hear me complain about things like having to read them fucking stupid Twilight series books because I didn't have choices and I had nothing better to do. And it beat staring at a wall for the next 9 hours. Well, no, it really didn't. I would take the Twilight books back. Also, I would take back them Suki Stackhouse books. Horrifying. Who the hell? Why? HBO picked that up as a TV show? Are you kidding me? Why? Why?
We can do a whole show about it next week, Ben.
No. If I could do like the Hogwarts thing where they like and just remove those from my memory, I would.
Okay, but we gotta go.
Steve's got to go. If you want to hear the outro, listen to it on last week's episode. That was 34 on Rumble to hear the pony outro version. If you want to ride into the sunset.
Heck yeah.
With a couple of dudes.
We'll,
I'm all wrapped up.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Show the top of your head, Marcus. Make the people happy.
You didn't say please.